Sir, I just want to add on one more thing. President Trump often says he's a very smart businessman, he's a smart politician, and he loves smart guys. But in this situation, we see President Putin is playing smarter than President Trump. What is your take on that, and how you see the land swapping negotiations?
Well, thank you, Mr. Kanchan. I was following the news ever since it began, the Ukraine-Russia war, ever since 2022. What I understand as of today is that eastern Ukraine remains scared. Why I say this is because of this popular land deal as the meeting on Friday is going to occur. However, those regions in eastern Ukraine, there are some citizens who are loyalists to the Russian regime, and occupied lands and territories are now more on the eastern side of Ukraine rather than central and western side. However, in my understanding, President Donald Trump is playing his cards correctly. He is trying to understand how Russia is motivated in taking over Ukraine. And historically speaking, here Ukraine used to belong to Russia. So he must understand where Vladimir Putin is coming from. And not only so, this land grabbing matter is definitely going to be one of concern, especially in Kiev, as citizens will understand that the two bigger nations have undermined Volodymyr Zelensky's leadership. And of course, the US must understand their requirements and support of the European Union nations and what kind of adjustments they have. Because, of course, with the meeting of Russia and America, entire Europe will be questioning that what is going to happen in the coming weeks and days. Of course, this war has been quite lengthy as well, 3.5 years, and it had not turned into a full nuclear proceeding of a war front. But up until now, much of the lives have been lost, and 2 rounds of prisoner swap has taken place. So we have to see if there is a possible ceasefire that happens on this Friday.
Yes. You know, President Putin already expressed his interest or his conditions on the media, Russian media. He said conditions must be met. And his condition, you know, I know, Mr. Kaji knows, Norman knows, that he wants the legitimacy of the lands he acquired in Ukraine. And we see that commentators are saying he has done his job. Now, he is using Ukraine as a land of battle, but he is actually fighting with NATO's and United States. How you going to explain these comments?
Well, in the shallow water, we can see that it's only Russia versus Ukraine, but it's proxy war. It's Russia versus Ukraine and the rest of Europe. That's how the battlefield has shaped up in the last 3.5 years. And in my understanding, even if it's just a land grab situation with Russia, they have annexed Crimea as well, a land that is very close by to Ukraine. And they have been taking note over the years before the start of this war. But as for now, with the meeting with Donald Trump on Friday, how much fruitful results and outcomes we will get is still far too early to ascertain. But one of the things that they may speak about is a possible ceasefire of the incident, and of course the eastern Ukraine, almost 25 to 30% of the Ukrainian, historical Ukrainian land has been taken by the Russian military. Occupation, if you would call it. It's right now labeled as an occupation. Whether this meeting will set new border lines and how the reaction will be in Ukraine is a matter of time to see, because it's going to be held this Friday. So yes, hopefully we'll be able to tell our viewers and the entire globe on Saturday how this event's going to fold out.
Yes, sir. You can remember the White House 2 meetings. One is Trump versus Zelensky, one is Trump versus South African president, and you have seen the consequences. And do you foresee sort of things like that, Putin and Trump's meeting?
It will be a grave mistake if Donald Trump had, if he treats the way he treated Cyril Ramaphosa and Volodymyr Zelensky in the White House. I'm pretty sure him doing that with Vladimir Putin is not going to be a good move. But of course, it has to be a measured questioning, measured answering style. He has to see how Vladimir Putin reacts to the matter. Of course, they're meeting in Alaska. It's a land that is off from the US mainland as well as the Russian mainland. So let's see how he handles Vladimir Putin and how Vladimir Putin handles Donald Trump, a very scandalous president of United States. In the middle, the 46th presidency, he wasn't there, but 45th, 47th, he was there. So let's see the handling of the world leaders. I'm pretty sure that Donald Trump should not bully Vladimir Putin like he has done with other world leaders in his own Oval Office.